Good afternoon, and welcome to a virtual meeting versus being here in person. Having put together this agenda, I realized that there was no real reason for us to sit in a room and you guys can watch us at any point over the next few days. It's more informational than anything else, and there's a couple of video clips I want to include, which you guys can watch as well too. So let's just get to it here. The first thing I want to talk about is parent-teacher conferences. Thank you for filling out that document for the students that we would like to see. I believe that we emailed those out either this morning or yesterday afternoon. And we're scheduled, as you know, for the 21st and 28th of this month. And we're going to offer, as we did last year, three different options. We're going to offer in person, we're going to offer by phone, and we're going to also offer by Zoom. I think we did it that way last spring, and it was pretty good. And then, of course, last fall, we did nothing but Zoom, and we had the best turnout for parent-teacher conferences that we've ever had. So we're going to try that again to hopefully engage our parents a little bit more and try to have some meaningful conversations. Along with that, as I said a couple of times, please make sure that you're always communicating with families of students who are in jeopardy of failing. I can't tell you how important that is. As a father of a child, that's important to know, although I have to believe hopefully she'll never be in that spot. But as a father or as a mother, as a parent, that type of communication is certainly appreciated. So send an email, do a text if you can, make a phone call, whatever it may be, whatever type of communication style you have, please do that. Also, we have had some of you start a student success plan, and that is awesome. That is what we want you to do. If there is a child that you think is in jeopardy of not graduating for any multitude of reasons, even as early as a freshman in high school, please start that student success plan. Again, just another way for us to communicate with families, to engage that kid somewhere along the process and do what we can to get them to be successful. The third thing that I want to talk about is the dress code form. I think dress code has been better. I think it's starting to kind of slip back a little bit, and it always will. It's one of those things where, if we don't stay on top of it, they're going to kind of push it. So we have the form for you. Please just fill that out. I know a lot of you are uncomfortable talking to students, hence this form is really helpful. You can put it on. It's online. It's on our website. You can pull it up and just put all information into that form, and then I get updated on it as well. I do have the form open almost every day, all day, and I'm checking on it to make sure that I'm not missing something. So please fill that out. This is our way. This is my way for helping you. Again, because I know sometimes that conversation is uncomfortable. And if you see a student and you think it's iffy, then you don't necessarily have to put it down. You can always just email me and let me know. But if it's like an eye opener going, oh yeah, that's not good, then certainly put that down for me. All right. So again, if we don't stay on top of that, they will kind of revert back to the mean, and they always will. We always revert back to the mean. But if we don't stay on top of it, it'll be harder to move them away from the mean. The fourth thing, and this is close to an email to you guys regarding this, and it's something that I've been aware of for a couple weeks now, and that's the wonderful TikTok challenge that's out there. And so I'm aware of it. The administration is aware of it. I think you as teachers are now aware of it. It's something that we're working with our social media company. Maybe they can help families become a little bit more aware of it. But I want to reiterate what Mrs. Close said in her email. Outside of that one incident, we have not seen, knock on wood, many of those TikTok challenges happening here. And so I think a lot of that has to do with you and your relationship with kids and our expectations and how we deal and work with kids. I think that plays a big role. And so just keep on being you, keep on having those strong relationships, and keep on helping our students make better decisions. So again, stay on top of that. And the next two are probably the most important pieces. The fifth thing that I wanted to cover was Discover You. Back before COVID, we had Discover You the day before Thanksgiving. And if you don't remember, that was the day where not all of us, but a number of teachers had a unique presentation that they had for kids. We had them throughout the day, and kids could choose which presentations they wanted to go to. It was a great day. Looking at the results of that survey, the students just loved it. Unfortunately, because of COVID coming in March, we couldn't do one at the end of the year 2 years ago. And of course, last year was just shot down in general. So we do want to get back to that. We think it was a great day. I think the teachers enjoyed it. I know the students enjoyed it. And so we want to go back to that again. So we're thinking November 23rd, that Tuesday before Thanksgiving would be a great day to have it. Now, the last time we did it, it was a half a day, and it was good. But this time, the overall agenda idea is maybe a full day of it. So we're thinking, and this is, again, just a brief outline of what an agenda could look like. But we're thinking maybe we'll start the morning off with a guest speaker. That could be a good way to start it. And then we'll transition into some presentations and, Discover You type presentations from the teachers. I think at some point during the day, we could also have small community service projects that we're doing as well. That would be also a great day for us to have a Thanksgiving meal and dinner as well. So there's lots of things that we can do that day. So it would be nice if we can make it a full day. So that's just a brief outline of what the agenda might look like right now. We're certainly open to ideas to fill that agenda up and make it better. But we also need you. We also need you guys to come up with some really unique and fun, engaging presentations about things that you love and different ways to connect with kids. I know the last time we were talking about this, some teachers thought, I really don't have anything that I could present to kids. Really not much I think that I do that they're going to enjoy. And what we found that day is that's not true, actually. And I'll use this as an example. I know Mr. Jensen was like, there's not a whole lot that he does that kids may enjoy. Well, through conversations, they talked about his love of music, and he did a presentation on his love of music, right? And it was a very unique, fun, and engaging presentation, and actually is one that the kids thoroughly enjoyed as well, too. So there's things about us, there's things about you that you really love, and believe it or not, kids love that too. And it's just a different way for us, again, to engage our kids, for them to see us as well, to see us in a different light. So we would love for as many of you to participate in that as possible. So be thinking about that. If we want to build this agenda, because I know we're not too far from Thanksgiving, we're already just about 5 or 6 weeks out from it. We do want to have some ideas from teachers of who want to present. So in the next week, really think about that. Talk to other teachers, talk to Mrs. Close, talk to myself, but just brainstorm some ideas. What is something that you could present that the kids would enjoy? And then the last thing that I want to talk about is grit. I know it's one of those things we talked about at the beginning of the year. I based my presentation at the beginning of the year with kids on it. We have the bike that I think kind of embodies that. The letter that I sent home embodies that. The welcome letter I sent home to kids embodies that. And if you remember correctly, grit is the growth mindset. It's resilience. It's integrity / intentionality, and it's tenacity. And it's one of those things that we really believe kids need to have when they graduate from here. All those things that as teachers, as a staff that we want kids to have can be summed up in grit. And so I think most of you know that I'm a huge Buckeye fan. I absolutely love the Ohio State Buckeyes. And so I live kind of for Saturdays. And if I'm not reading a nerdy book, if I'm not listening to a nerdy podcast, if I'm not, getting my nerd on, I'm really engaged in Ohio State information and Ohio State podcasts and things that I'm reading about Ohio State. So recently, you may or may not know this, but in week 2, Ohio State lost to then ranked number 11 Oregon. That was the only loss of the year. Actually, it was Ryan Day's first regular season loss as a head coach. And the defense was nothing short of bad. It was nothing short of bad. And so Ryan Day had to make some adjustments. He had to make some tough decisions. And one of the things that he chose to do was to take our defensive coordinator, who's only in his second year as a full-time defensive coordinator, and kind of demote him. Had to have a tough conversation and kind of had to demote him and put him into a different position. And ever since then, the defense has got steadily better every week. And they've been getting to win more and more every week. And and Ohio State's playing much, much better. So yesterday, at your typical Tuesday press conference, the defensive coordinator that was kind of demoted, Kerry Combs, was asked a few questions. And as I was listening to this and as I was reading this, it really struck me as embodies everything that we believe, or I believe, about grit. So I'm going to play a few clips for you. The first clip really talks about resilience, talks about his integrity, talks about his intentionality, and it talks about his tenacity. Here it is.
Opinion that handling it in a different fashion, picking up your ball and going home, kicking the can down the road, quitting, packing your stuff up, being a miserable human being. If I had done those things, that would make me a liar to every one of those young men that I've coached along the way that had tough times, that got replaced on a given Saturday or a Friday night or a Sunday afternoon, and had to have the conversation with, hey, hang in there, it's going to be okay. Whether they agreed with the decision or not didn't matter. You have to battle and fight through. Those players and young men that struggle with the public criticism and the things that are out there in the world today, if you want to look them in the eye and tell them, hey, you need to hang in there. You need to don't accept criticism from somebody you wouldn't accept advice from. If you're not willing to stand up and do the same thing, then you're a liar to all those people along life's journey. And so that I'm blessed to work here. And the last piece is this. We talk about the brotherhood around here an awful lot. We talk about it an awful lot. And if you believe it and you live it, then when things get tough, it's easy to be a brother when it's 66-17 on a Saturday afternoon. It's hard to be a brother when you face adversity. It's hard. And so if you're here for the other men on this team, the other coaches and the other players on this team, if that's truly what you believe, then you're here with them come heck or high water. You're here fighting and struggling and scrapping. And I love those kids. I love those kids in that locker room. I love those kids on this team. I love the men I work with, and I love Ohio State. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to be fighting and battling and scratching and clawing for the remainder of this season to help us win every freaking Saturday. That's what I'm going to do. And so whether or not I like everything or how everything went, that got nothing to do with it. It's got to do with you got a job to do. You look people in the eye and you say, this is how. And hopefully someday down the road, some young man who had trouble, who faces trouble or adversity can remember an example of a man who tried to lead with positive energy in the midst of adversity. And if I can do that, then I will have accomplished my goal.
Now, the second clip, which is a little bit shorter, really talks about the growth mindset. It talks about him having to step back, look at what he does, look at the field from a different perspective, learn what he does, learn about the game from a different perspective, something that he's been doing for years. I mean, 60 years old, but he really embraces the growth mindset with this one.
The game from up in the box.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and I did not. This was another blessing that comes out of tough times. I had not been in the press box for a long time, and when I was, it was my first year at UC, and it was a brief period, and I have found being in the press box to be very valuable. It's been something that I think has enhanced my ability to see the game, communicate the game. And I think that's been a real strength over the last couple of weeks. I miss hugging people. You know, I got Kevin Wilson now, and I got to be honest with you, it's not the same. And so, you know, that part, that's real. I miss that desperately, being on the sideline. But that's selfish too. And so having the opportunity to go up there, and which was my idea, by the way, and be able to see it, and I think really, really see it and get a feel for the game has been really helpful.
So that's it. That's really all I have for today. As I said in my email, please make sure that you try to watch us by Friday. And again, some important things. You know, keep on pushing this idea of grit. Hopefully, we get a chance to really start and working as a staff to come up with some great ideas that we can do with the kids. But until we have that time, just keep on thinking about it, keep on talking about it, keep on using it on your own in any way that you can. Also remember, to use that dress code form when possible. All right. If you have any questions, as always, stop by the office or send me an email. Thanks. Take care.